And there's really nothing more than I'm going to say and tell you what I have in my hand. What I have is I have 3 white cotton non-starch ropes of equal length. Now, the only thing that you have to say, Nikki, is what do we have in our hands right now?
What do we have in our hands right now?
Okay. What kind of ropes are they?
Oh my gosh, white cotton starch, right, even length ropes.
Perfect. That, you know what? That's as hard as it gets. Now, here's a math question. So if you're worried about it, I'm going to take all the bottoms and bring them up to the top.
Yep.
And so how many ends would we have up on top?
Well, you should have 6.
You're perfect. Okay, now your right hand, like this, out, stand in front and hold it. Don't squeeze it too tight or they all melt together. Okay, now, what I'm going to pull out of my pocket is I'm going to pull out 3 white cotton non-starch ropes. But there is a difference. These 3 white cotton non-starch ropes are going to be of uneven lengths. Okay, so let's see how you do with that. 3 white cotton non-starch ropes of unequal length.
Yes.
Okay, give that a shot.
What do we have here?
Yeah, what do we got here?
3 cotton uneven starch ropes. White.
You know what? That's pretty good. I'm not going to ask you the next question about...
This is hard.
Yeah, I know.
I'd rather be sawed in half.
Okay, that's not going to happen. Now, I wasn't going to ask you the same thing about bringing the ends up top because we have 6 ends.
Yes.
Now, all we need is something magical. Now, what I have, and you know, people call me stupid because if you had this magic wiffle dust, you should have used it in the Western Final. But I didn't have it. I didn't have it at that time. So, but I did get some in. Now, it's from Africa, and what makes it really expensive is the GST on top. So you have to let me use your other hand.
Okay.
And so I'll put a little bit of wiffle dust in. Okay. And now, I'll save what's left, because, you know, we do have a football season coming up. You sprinkle a little bit on yours. Okay, a little on mine. That's perfect. You did exactly what you needed, because I have the 3 white cotton non-starch ropes of equal length, and if you'll pull yours out one at a time from the top and show the audience what you have.
Oh my goodness. Whoops. I have 3 uneven white cotton starch ropes.
Thank you. How about a nice round of applause for Nikki? People always ask me how I do that, and I tell them perfectly. So, Nikki, thank you. There is no such thing as magic. Beesley, do you have your microphone with you? Okay. This is real simple. This is something a little bit different. If you wouldn't mind, this is where I don't like it one way. I like it 2 ways. If you have a question, if you would stand up and Mr. Beesley would walk on over, we'll hand you the mic, and then please, any questions. There's nothing that's off limits on how well I did when I was in Edmonton, why I'm no longer there, why I'm here in Calgary. Does anybody have any questions? Just raise your hands. We'll answer them. And all right. To the best of our ability, and so this is a little bit interactive. Now, you know what? You've already been on the stage, Nikki, but go ahead. Take the mic. Let's hear. Go ahead.
All right.
How could you possibly be in Canada for 30 years and you still have your Jersey accent?
I don't have a Jersey accent. You know, it really is fun. One of the, again, a very memorable moment was getting together with all the football players at North Carolina State in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we had to get our teeth impressions done for mouthpieces. And so we were sitting down and we were laughing at one another because we had one guy that said, "Park your car in the Harvard yard." And we go, "Are you kidding me? How do you spell yard?" And then we had somebody from backwoods, North Carolina. "There's a bar over there." And then we were telling people about the roof. And we're going, "Roof? That's what a dog says." "No, that's the roof, that's on top of your head." So I think there's only one person in this room that speaks properly, and that's myself. So only kidding. I don't know. But when I do go back to New Jersey, I always get it from my wife and says, "Well, you get that twang back real quickly." But I actually have now lived in Canada longer than I've lived in the United States, and I'm proud to say that I am a Canadian citizen as well. So I hold both a Canadian and American citizenship, and I'm very proud of that.
And we're certainly glad you're back here instead of there. Your next question.
Coach, you said nothing was off limits, so here we go. I'm not sure how to ask it, but you brought it up, the Western Final. So you introduced it, so I was just wondering, it seemed to me like a game that Edmonton didn't win. It's a game that we lost, I thought. How do I ask this? How did you feel about all the balls getting dropped and that sort of thing?
That's a good question. I thought you were going to ask about the year prior when the Edmonton Eskimos were playing the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and this coach decided to go for it in 3rd and 19, and it failed. And all of a sudden there's a big uproar. The game that we're talking about is that the Calgary Stampeders finished in 2nd, beat the Edmonton Eskimos in the last week of the regular season, and Edmonton had to come here. 2 of the hotter teams. We felt whoever won that football game had a chance of winning the Grey Cup. What happened was really simple. We were winning at halftime, and that was a curse because we had a lot of young, inexperienced football players that were rejoicing in the fact that we were winning a football game. Had we gone into halftime losing, I think we would have won the football game. Now, I'm a interesting case study because I can find the positive in that situation. I truly believe our long-term success is going to be because we lost that football game. Had we won the football game, this last season would have been, that's all they would have to do to achieve success. Well, I think long-term success is going to come because everybody that went home with a real ache in their stomach. You cannot turn the football over and win a football game. We were at -5, so that means they had 5 more takeaways than we did, fumbles or interceptions. I don't mean to get too technical, but there are some football people there. And that when it went to -6, that was it. But we were a better football team than they were, but not on that given day because they went on to beat us, beat BC, and then beat Montreal in a very memorable Grey Cup game. But that's just the way it goes. That is life. No one ever said life is fair. The better teams don't always win, but what you do hope is that you get an opportunity just another day or another year in which to line up and compete. And I truly believe, again, I believe we'll be a better football team because we lost.
All right, we've got one more over here, Tom.
Okay.
Thanks, Beesley. So I'm a hockey coach. If you scratch the surface of most Canadian men, you'll find a hockey coach, certainly dads. I know I got one here at the table with me. Any other hockey coaches in the crowd here? Anyway, my question is this. We talk to the kids all the time about playing like a team. We say, hey guys, you're out there, you're doing your own thing. You got to play like a team if you expect to win the game. And the difficulty is, what does that really mean? How do I really reach those kids? It's fine to say play like a team, but how do they honestly do that?
And that's very, very fair. In order to have any success, it's going to be based on your ability to sell the fact that it's everybody. Team stands for together, everyone achieves more. You also have heard in sport there's no I in team. So T-E-A-M, there is no I, but it is the individuals. So you have to work on the individuals one at a time. Now, one of the challenges or the fun things that we have as a professional organization is that if we were starting, and this is the start of training camp, we say, okay, we brought all 80 of you in, but only 40 of you can make the football team. So you make the football team based on your athletic ability, but also based on your ability to be a team player. And so that's one of the things that has to be worked on. There also is a role to be played in every one of the positions on your hockey team. I know nothing about hockey, but I can guarantee you everybody has a role. Either you're on offense, you're on defense, or you're the goalie. You can have a bus. I love this analogy, but you can only have one bus driver. You have to have some people to service the bus. You need the people to ride the bus. And if you don't understand your roles and they're all fighting for what the one position of being the bus driver, it's not going to work. So it's a matter of continuing what your belief is, but you have to show it by your actions as a coach as well, that you deal with each and every athlete fairly, that they understand that if they don't adhere to what we do and believe in, so everything that you do is if it's contradicts what you're telling them, they see through it. If you believe it and you run your practices that way, that you allow them to play that way, that you give everybody the opportunity that they deserve, or whatever the rules are on whichever level that you're playing on, then you have a chance. But I believe it's done individually. And then you do it collectively. You bring it together as a group. And then when you have success, you make sure that you reward it and show it. And then when it fails, you make sure that you also teach at that point in time, because it's a great teaching tool, why you weren't successful, and then it's all about team. the reason to play sport, the only one reason really to play sport, is to understand the values that you get from sport. Because you're always going to do something afterwards. And I believe people who have had the opportunity to work hard, to play together as a team, to be disciplined, to understand that, you know, you go on out and it doesn't guarantee you that you're going to win, but you can always be prepared. You can always give your best. It's interesting because we talk right now that I don't measure success by the scoreboard. I really don't. But everybody else does. We have 40 players that can play. All I ever ask the players to do is give the best they can. And the best that they can is up to 100%. I dislike when people in sports say, well, give 110%, 120. There's a lot of educated people out there. That number is infinite. You can go up to, well, give 200% and then 2,000. I mean, it's ridiculous. You can't. The most you can give is give up to 100%. I don't shake my hands of the players before the football game. They understand there's one time when I'm going to shake their hand, and it's after the game is over, and I want them to look me in the eye that they gave the best effort they can. If I have 40 athletes giving me the best effort that they can, or their teammates, or the rest of the coaching staff, then I don't care what the score is, because we've won. And I can guarantee you this. If we had all our players given 100%, for every game that we played, and we were 0-18, I wouldn't be in Calgary anymore. But I can guarantee you this, that if you have a team that is always giving you their best, you'll probably win more than you lose, and then I'll have an opportunity to be here again and then speak another evening. So I'm going to wrap up the question and answers and allow me to finish it on up. There was an old lady in a village, and all the villagers love to talk about how wise and kind and smart this old lady was or is. But there's a bunch of kids that, you know what, we're sick and tired of hearing about this lady. And what the kids did is they came up with a plan. They wanted to make sure and fool this lady into knowing that she's not so smart. And the plan was real simple. They were going to catch a bird. And when they catch the bird, they were going to hold it in their hands, and they were going to ask the old lady, is the bird alive or is it dead? And if she says it's alive, they're going to crush and kill the bird. If she says it's dead, they're going to open the hands and let the bird fly free. So they caught the bird, and they got to the old woman. They started to mock her a little bit, so being so wise and so smart. Can you tell me, is the bird alive or is it dead? And with a twinkle in her eye, she gave the only correct answer. It's in your hands. I thank you so very much, because what's in our hands today is the ability to make a difference. I gained another hero. And I know through the stories of the next people that will be presented with awards that I'm going to gain some more. You are my inspiration. You excite me to the reason that we are on this planet, to make a difference, to care, to do something that has meaning. What I do as far as a professional football coach has no meaning. What's the difference if we beat the Edmonton Eskimos or not? I think the whole reason that I am here is to have the opportunity to share some of my experiences with people like yourself, to allow athletes that I have the chance to coach to hopefully make a difference in their lives, that there's something more to be done after they're done playing the game of football. It's about giving back to the community. And we are going to try to do that every time we have a chance to make sure, because we all know here tonight, the reason that we give, we know that the more you give, the more you will receive. And so it's about giving. And it didn't bother me that only 10% of you would remember 10% of what I said 10 minutes after I said it, because you gave me your most prized possession, your time. Thank you very much.
I think you deserve standing ovation, because I learned a lot from you. I think we've all learned a lot. There's lessons even in football. Oh, I got fairy dust. Is that what it was? Wiffle dust. Well, Tom, we wanted to thank you for being here and for agreeing to speak, because you really had no idea what you were getting into. And you said, okay.